Hi, my name is Logan Dooley, and this is the revisions of the method section. So if you see me looking down, I'm simply looking at this picture. It's kind of hard to read on the doc, but let's start. So the first annotation is maybe add some sections and more of them. So as you can see, I added sections, data analysis, free. So I added sections and there's more of them. In this paper, there's three with no titles, and on this paper there's six all with titles. Right here it says source of materials. So in the second paper, I was actually able to um mention the source of materials. So Sid Labs, New England Biolabs. So that was mentioned throughout the methods as well. As far as right here, it says data analysis. I don't even need to search that up. Data analysis is at the very bottom. So this is where I talk about the data analysis. There's also the narrative. Narrative wasn't a problem. Past tense. So past tense was something that we struggled with on the first one. So as you can see, all these highlighted things is um, uh, the wrong tense. So basically, I omitted things like will be, um, allowing, sorry, allowing, avoiding, language like that throughout the second method section. So I made sure to focus on being in past tense. Um, let's see. So also, somewhere I believe over here. Okay, so right here it says what percent. I believe it's talking about the agros. I made sure to add the percentage of agro. So right here, we have 0.5 of the agros. And I made sure to add the percentage of that, 0.5 grams. There was also um there was also mentioning of, I think, okay, so the could not repeat this protocol. So with these six sections, I made sure that this protocol could be repeated by using specific measurements, by using the names, the sources of the products. So I'm really emphasizing making sure this methods section would be repeatable. From like a student in Lyman Breaks, they could repeat this method section. So that's where I focus on. Before this method section is nowhere near long enough to be repeatable. So I made this clear, especially with adding these sections. There was also a question of what ladder are you using? I don't see it, but the ladder is mentioned. That was an annotation on here, but the ladder is mentioned. So 100 base pair ladder from Sid Labs. Like I said, I made the methods repeatable. I went in depth with text. I used the measurements, time frame. So I gave time frame. So right here, where it talks about the annealing, it says, how did you set this? So when I talk about our annealing, I mentioned with the temperature, we calculated from this formula. And then it's the number of G's and C's plus two times the number of A and T's in the primer. So that's how we got that temperature. There's also a question of how many volts are you using in the paper somewhere. Sorry, it's just kind of hard to read this paper, but I mentioned that we're using 200 volts in the second paper, and then also for 20 minutes. Um, that's how long we'll run the gel. So I mentioned the voltage and how long we were running it, 200 volts for 20 minutes. Um, the, the sections, procedures, I added the procedures. There was something where it said like LB, it commented on the LB buffer. Okay, right here, the LB buffer. And what that is lithium borate. So I made sure to mention that. So it's lithium borate buffer. I made sure to mention that as well. Um, Originally, it was mentioned that it was short. Like the overall method section was short. Um, as you can see in comparison, this method section, I mean, just this first section alone is almost about as long as the first method section. So I made sure to um, not cut the method section short, uh, making sure whoever's reading this could repeat this. Um, there was another question of what was our sequences. I believe right here, yep, was our sequences. And I added the sequences. So right here we have the forward primer, the reverse primer. That was for the lambda. And then for the CFTR mutation, we have the forward primer, reverse primer, and then this is the design primer. So I made sure to give the specific sequences and yeah. So um besides the annotations on the paper, this is just the course pack. I wanted to make sure that this new method section followed the rubric. So the methods section gets 5 points, and it says it includes the source of materials, which I displayed earlier. It has procedure and data analysis. So we have our data analysis and then our whole procedure that should be repeatable. And then also it has narrative. So it has the same narrative as well as I omitted certain words, speech, language, whatever, to make sure that it was past tense. And yes, I believe that covers everything. Um, yep. So I went over everything that was on this paper. The method section was short, so it wasn't too much to go over, but everything I fixed. Uh, so I added the sections, fixed the past tense, added the sequences, used specifications. So what does LB buffer mean? Lithium borate. The data analysis. I made sure the methods were repeatable. It went in depth and used measurements. I gave time frames and I specified like the primers, data sequences. The ladder I'm using, made sure to mention that 100 base pair ladder. And then I specified how long are we running the gel and at what voltage. And that's it. Thank you.